that there are more mamas and more families that have chosen to take their baby's face offline, whether they keep the pictures that they used to have on there, and as their child gets older, they just don't show their face anymore, or they just flat out have started from jump their page of not showing their children's face. And I think it's for many different reasons. I think it's, hey guys, welcome back to this channel. My name is Tanika, and here we talk about life, faith, motherhood, and culture, a little countercultural things from time to time. I am so excited for today's conversation because it's one that I find we are coming up against culturally on a regular basis, like almost every day. And if you saw the title, it's to do with AI. Okay. We're going to talk about AI and our babies. All right. So I've made a decision on social media, even before having a girl, that we wouldn't post her face. And we've gotten a few comments, some really inquisitive questions as to like why and such. And I want to talk about it today. I want to talk about just the nature of where our culture is going. And I love for it to be a discussion. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear if you disagree, if you agree, so on and so forth. I want to hear it because this is the place to have those conversations. So we are literally in the day, in the age of artificial intelligence. And I have watched too many videos here on YouTube pertaining to AI and the trajectory of where it's going. And as someone who is not a professional, I am not, super versed linguistically or in my language as far as how to explain the things that are coming or things that are happening thus far in this AI society that we are now stepping into. I think it's something that we are all coming up against, whether it's, through our Google accounts, through Facebook, through the fact that our emails are actually correcting our words, through what people call AI slop online with just grossly generated stuff where you put in a thing and it comes up with a picture. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan. I have a family member who I love so much. They're so sweet, but they keep sending me photos of myself or my dad or them and my grandma who's passed away in like these AI photos. And I just find them to be so cringe. And I also don't like the fact that my face is being like put into the AI world of like being made into an AI generated photo. So anyway, back to our babies. I have noticed and have seen that there are more mamas and more families that have chosen to take their baby's face offline, whether they keep the pictures that they used to have on there, and as their child gets older, they just don't show their face anymore, or they just flat out have started from jump their page of not showing their children's face. And I think it's for many different reasons. I think it's safety. I think it's consent. I think it's the fact that people don't actually have the right, to see your children's face. I saw comments, so many comments in the past about why are you covering your child's face? That's weird. Like, what are you afraid of? Or so on and so forth. Like just different comments under, different social media influencer, whatever pages. And and I'm like, what gives you the right to even ask that question? They're not your child. That's my opinion. They're not your child. Why are you so intrigued to see what the child's face is? Uh, that's where I stand. I feel like, why do you feel like you need to see, a child's face that you don't have any rights to or don't have any responsibility for? Because I think the direction that we're going as a society and as tech wise, I think it's smart to not show your babies online. I think that I'm not a fear monger. I'm not one to, just walk around in fear. I am really big on wisdom, especially the wisdom of the Holy Spirit. And I feel like I have noticed an uptick in advertisement and more like digital awareness of human trafficking and sex trafficking and child pornography and all these things. And I'm sure that you have seen the talk of AI being able to, manipulate your child and put your child's face on. I'm not talking about that, but I think the idea that someone would feel the right to have eyes on your child, I'm just not a fan of it. And I also know that, like, in the world of, like, video and, movie making and so on and so forth, that, like, if you're looking at something or if you're talking to something and the people as, like, you don't see what I'm looking at or don't see what I'm talking about, it can be hard to, like, to visualize it because, of course, you can't see it, right? But I think that it also has something to do with it. Like, you wanna see the child's face or you wanna see the person's face or what they're wearing or whatever because it helps put the whole picture together, which I get it. But in the grand scheme of things, I just don't think it's necessary. Like, maybe when the child's older, they can choose to have social media once you feel as a parent it's appropriate. But even that is getting out of control. Like the amount of grooming and all this other kind of stuff on gaming platforms and Instagram and especially TikTok and so on and so forth. I just don't think that it's necessary. But I've seen some moms and some platforms that have done a really tasteful job about talking about their babies or talking about motherhood, including their children, like in the photo or in the video, but have so tastefully done it to where you feel like you're a part of it and you don't feel like, oh, they're just trying to go against the grain and not show the baby's face or whatever. But it's just made you feel like you're a part of it, if you know what I mean. I follow this one page where the mom is talking about how she teaches her children to like cut and how to bake from like a young age. She just follows like picture recipes and she puts like the text in front of her baby's faces. And I just think that is so tasteful, like a tasteful way to do it. Like you're talking about your children, you're including them. People can see that your content is about children and motherhood and so on and so forth, but you don't have to share their face. And it allows the person in without giving too much away. And I just think it's smart, man. I think it's so smart. And as I said before, I have gotten questions or thoughts pertaining to why I haven't shared my daughter's face online and if I'm going to. And I just, respectfully say, no, I just don't think we're gonna do that for a while. I just leave it. So where it's not argumentative, it's not nobody's judging anyone. I'm just answering a question, right? Because I know that it can feel like, oh, I feel like I'm missing out on the likes or on the engagement or just the fact of feeling affirmed that your child is just so stinky cute. Like that's how I feel as far as that my baby's cute. But I don't think I need that from the outside world to tell me that my daughter is beautiful. But it's hard. It's hard because if you're a millennial like me, you were not online. The only people that saw you as a child were like those in your friend group, like your family or those at school or those in your neighborhood. Like the thousands of people, millions of people in the world did not see who you were. And we already were dealing with child abduction, all that kind of crazy stuff going on way back when. And now it's just incredibly skyrocketed. Tim Tebow, I believe it was Tim Tebow. I saw a video online about these little dots of like all these children that were sexually exploited, pornography or what have you, online. And they were like these little blue dots in a sea of red dots, and the blue dots were the cases that were actually being investigated. It was like 10 on like a sea of like millions. Like it was insane, and it I think it's brought a lot of awareness to the fact of what's actually happening digitally with our babies, whether it's manufactured, it's not real content, or whether unfortunately it is gruesome, disgusting, like stuff. Like how else do I say it? And I think the world, people are just realizing or just thinking critically about the decisions they make with their children and the internet. So, I want to know, what are your thoughts on sharing our babies online? Do you do it? Did you change your mind? Did you jump out and say, no, that's not for me? We're going to make a different decision. I would love for us to have a conversation down below. And how do you feel about what's happening in our culture with children? Which gives us more reason to pray and cover our babies with the blood of Christ as they leave our house, as they go to sleep, and just praying over their future, not out of fear, but just knowing that the Lord has beautiful plans for them, and that prayer changes things, it covers, it protects, and the Lord answers. So, love to hear from you down below. And until the next one, check out any of these of my former videos. I would love to have you subscribe and come and chat with me another time. God bless. Bye.